soared overhead as we made our way into a pristine backcountry lake north of Massey, Ontario. The ice had just come off the lakes, and we were in search of native lake trout. I traveled with my brother Ted Baird, Sean James of My Self-Reliance, and friend Nate Smith. Canine companions Callie and North were along for the trip too. Only accessible in winter or in early spring by canoe when the connecting beaver swamps and streams hold enough water. The lake we were questing for lay outside of any main canoe route systems. After struggling through deep mud, headwinds, and some challenging portages, we found a true native trout lake that has never been sullied by the planting of non-native invasive species. Upon arrival, we are greeted by a myriad of rugged islands, rocky outcrops, and despite signs of log drives as recently as the 1950s, we found a lake with no development that we had all to ourselves.
I don't know that story.
He just drove away from the gas tank with his... That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, guys, what
Volume canoe, right? Prospector. Yeah. That's what, a 615.
In the boat, get in the boat.
No, just following around on it. And we are off. Just access this Bull Lake via Bull Lake Outfitters. Gonna go a good little distance. Probably just gonna blast through this lake and get into what is a natural trout lake, 3 portages deep into the backcountry. Going into a steady headwind, beautiful day. Bugs are out, but the wind's keeping them down, and we are in search of spring trout. Might get into some specks, which is brook trout, speckled trout, but mostly in these waters there's going to be lake. So we're heading into a natural lake trout lake. There's supposed to be some big ones in there. Ice just went out here. We're in northern Ontario, up north of Massey, and super excited for a spring trout fishing trip. We're coming to what might be our first portage. I'm not really sure. The map shows they're like marked almost like a waterfall, and it looks like there might be a drop, so I'm not really sure. We're just using standard 1 to 50 Canadian topographic maps. So we're gonna have to see what it is when we get there. Okay. See a bunch of suckers in here, Sean?
Yeah, a whole bunch of them.
Hey! No! You ready? Yeah. Put it in right here. is a beaver dam now. You can see the beaver dam there. And you know, there's probably been dams there throughout history, beaver dams, but you can tell from these logs that it was a logging dam and a slide, or I don't know if you call that a full sluice, but definitely a log slide. You can see where these logs are, and they'd push the logs when the water was higher through here and float them down through you know, chains of lakes, through other small streams, and eventually to a larger river, and then likely, very likely to Georgian Bay, where they could put them in a big boom with a tugboat and take them to a distant rail line or something like that. This here is probably 80, maybe older, 90 years old. Instead of portaging, we two-man carried. So, kind of regret it because it's hard, but faster. Now I go pick up North, who's off on a gallivant. In the boat, in the boat. Come on, in the boat. Good boy. Stay, stay, stay. Okay, North. More beasting into headwinds. Go to the front. Go to the front of the boat. So just going through a narrows here, and it's almost acting like a bit of a wind tunnel. So I'm really glad I brought this double-bladed paddle, because it's really gusting. What? Oh yeah? Strong wind is blowing my canoe all over the place. The creek is just too shallow to drag through, but it's kind of a cool beaver meadow we're heading through, and this big long portage almost looked like we could paddle it on the map, but my guess is that it's probably going to mean the fishing's better once you get back here, because outside of the winter with the snowmobile, it's pretty hard to get in here. Oh, the wind is strong. Shit! well past my knee in this mud, and I don't know how I'm gonna get my shoe on. Oh man, I am stuck deep in mud, probably the deepest I've ever been stuck here before, and I'm afraid to try pulling out my foot because I'm going to lose my shoe. I'm not going to be able to get it back. And look at how deep into the muck I am here, up to here. Brutal. Help! I'm literally stuck, and I can't get out without losing my shoe. I don't have any other shoes. Oh my God. I did it! I did it! Woo! That was insane. Nobody even saw. Man, I'm not going to tell them until they watch my video, and they'll get a good laugh. Oh, holy, look at that mud. Wild. Wow, that was crazy. Make sure you don't try to cross over that that creek swamp. Just go around to the right.
I was gonna try to wade up the creek, but I think that might be a flop.
I think so too. It's stupid to blow a dam too, because nothing really eats this. This here is what you call a beaver meadow, and what happened was this should all be easy going, but either the beavers got trapped out or somebody blew the dam, or the beavers just exhausted their food source and either died or moved on. And this whole last muddy part of this portage should have all been paddleable. So it's making things very challenging. Beaver dams are out, another beaver dam are out, so we're kind of paddling upriver in swampy, shallow stuff, so way harder than we expected. Sean's already apologized. He promised it wasn't going to be like this.
Yeah, that's me. Well, this is nothing to me, that's the thing, right? So I didn't really think anything of it. Forgot who was coming.
Right.
Good answer, good answer. But it happens sometimes, you know, you look at the maps, definitely don't represent this. The maps represent the beaver swamp. You could tell that was an old dam. You know?
Yeah, that was a big dam too.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, so and who knows, maybe we could have paddled up this if that dam was still in.
Actually, probably.
You know?
Because if you saw that height of the dam, it was like that, right?
Yeah.
That was a big dam.
So yeah, so anyways, it's creating another challenge here for us. Beautiful little spot here. Nate caught a couple of suckers. And just, you know, we're just gonna have to pick up and portage probably what's gonna be a bushwhack around this so we can get to where we want to get to, so no time like the present. Some of them are kind of tough though, eh?
What, lake trout?
No, the moose steak.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know how good it feels to be able to blame someone else for the trip? For once? Yes. No.
Okay.
Nate sees a trail.
Yeah. An oldie, but it's there.
gonna be a wild ride. Yeah.
So I'm using a Williams Whitefish here, 25-pound test fluoro, and about a 1 ounce keel sinker. We're not expecting the lake trout to be too deep at this time of year. Where should we put our tent?
Could probably fit two. There's one here and there's another one up over there, I think.
You get some wood, Ted? But it's the word for hickory translates to good bow wood.
Oh,
Yeah, I know why it's good to learn indigenous language, because you don't have to learn the name and then what it does is both at the same time.
Anyway,
what's the proper response?
way further of a trip than we just did. Right.
We looked at when we were getting her. It was really almost.
And that was, he had these directions on them. And I was like, oh. Cooked it up. I'm like so full.
All
I'm
the
like, oh, I can't eat it.
Yeah, all the Algonquin fanatics.
On this end.
Well, here we are. As you can see, we found a great campsite. The first spot we looked at, we were all game to camp there. We were pretty sick of paddling to just ripping headwinds, and Nate jumped in his canoe and he paddled down this long bay into the headwinds, actually found a better campsite, and so we all jumped in our canoes and went and did that and came here, and it turned out to be better for sure. And I just ate pasta, which is boring, and everyone's like, Jim, why didn't you bring moose sticks? What's wrong with you? But I guess I just blew it. But I packed for this trip, unfortunately, a little quicker than I would like to have. But we're just having a really good time, just chilling by the fire. We're gonna throw some more logs on and turn in. We did try a little bit of fishing, but you know, we got 2 more days to fish, and we just kind of trolled here with the winds. It was very challenging. So yeah, hopefully you're going to see us eating trout for tomorrow. But yeah, I'm hoping I'm eating trout tomorrow and not the pasta. I'm going to be honest with you, it wasn't very good. Anyway, so Nate's going to break out some and we're going to get f***ed up and, you know, call it a night around 5 a.m.
Is that in your video?
Pretty much. I probably won't put that in though. That was for you guys. I don't know how many is.
And it's still solid.
I noticed that. They said.
Fish for salmon.
I'm going to troll out that way and see what we can do, and if we have any luck, maybe we have a little shore lunch. Leisurely pace this morning. It was nice, quite nice, with some breakfast and some coffees, and went on a rant about a bunch of the problems in the world. I think we pretty much solved all of them. And now we're gonna move out there and hopefully catch some fish, and we'll be camping back at this site tonight. We discussed whether we'd change campsites, but we're pretty happy with here. We're pretty happy with this spot. There's not a ton of good places to camp. Very pretty lake, but sloping shorelines and rocky, and so we think we found a pretty nice spot here. So we're gonna stay put, and yeah, I'm basically more or less gonna climb into the canoe and hopefully get some lake trout. Is it big? I mean, I'm sure there's like 20 pounders in here, but as far as eating goes and good size goes, that is a beauty.
I'm excited to eat it.
Yeah. What'd you catch it on?
A little Clio copper and red.
Sweet.
Small one. Sean has got a fish on.
An eater.
Yeah. Good job.
That's perfect eating size. That's good.
Perfect.
Nice. Did he get you? Gold little Cleo is the trick today.
Okay, I have just hooked into a fish. Pretty good size. We brought some stuff to have a shore lunch. There he is. But there it is. Good one. Good, probably about 2 pounds. Well, I switched my lures to a white tube jig. These guys went ahead of me, and then when I was landing that fish, I got blown into a deep bay, so I have to fight back against the wind. But yeah, this is a natural lake trout lake. That species probably has things that are specific to it that you wouldn't find exactly the same in any other lake, because they've been here for probably about 8,000 years. They've been in this lake, and you know, lakes around here, but they're probably somewhat on a smaller scale unique to this lake, because they've been here since the glaciers retreated, you know, about 8,000 years ago. So that's pretty cool. And so many of these front country or even backcountry trout lakes near where train tracks go or roads and that, they've been stocked with bass, and that can really especially hurt the speckled trout fishery. So it's interesting to fish a lake that doesn't have bass, that only has trout in it. And that's the way a lot of these kind of cold water lakes were at one time. And unfortunately, they've become less good for, almost destroyed the speckled trout fishery, but also, you know, the lake trout aren't as affected by bass introduction, but it's not good for them either. So just really awesome to be able to fish a lake that is in its truly natural state. There's still good numbers, not a stocking program in here, and catch these beautiful cold water fish. Lake trout are actually a char, they're not a true trout, but they're all char, trout, and whitefish are all part of the salmonid family. So they're related to Atlantic salmon, and of course Chinook salmon, and all the other West Coast species as well. Super exciting, yes! I don't know where the hell these guys went off to though. We pulled over here for shore lunch after having some luck with the fishing. and in doing so discovered a great place to camp. The wind picked up some, but we're all kind of thinking that maybe we just move our campsite to here because we've had good luck with lake trout. I caught mine right out there, Nate caught his out there, Sean one in here, etc. And it's just a beautiful open spot, and we do have time. We have another night on this lake, so we might move. But first, we are going to enjoy a delicious shore lunch of lake trout, get filled up. I'm feeling pretty hungry because whatever way you look at it, we got some headwinds to paddle back into to get back to camp, so I need to fuel up. So looking forward to that, and then getting back out and fishing some more. So good times. I got this little cold seal Baird and trout knife. It's great for cleaning trout, and I think these are small enough that we can just basically gut them, you know. So a little tip here, you start at the asshole, you slice up the asshole like this, right to the top, right to there, and you stab through here, this little part through there, and you go forward like that. And then I like this knife because there's that ring, so you can just hang on to it. You don't need to put it down. And you grab this and you pull, and everything, if you do it right, comes out with the fish. This one didn't work too well, but yeah, I got the gills, most of the guts. Most of the time all the gills come out. The only reason it didn't is because this fish is a little too big. But there, so I got the front fins, and then all the guts out, and then all you got to do after that is clean out this little blood line here. I just go in there with my thumb and just scrape that right out, right down to the spine. And then I just give it a rinse off in the water, and that's good to go. I'll cut it in half and cook it with the head on even.
As soon as you catch a fish, you cut the gills and get them to the have to cut this.
I forget where I saw this tip from. There, that will work perfectly. Looks like, let me fake.
Okay. You even remembered tongs. Lemon juice? Lemon?
Oh. No, you could have let it burn down.
Looks delicious.
That was so weird. What?
It's always like that beginner's luck. It's just because they're actually like not, you know, in a rock luck.
Today I thought.
First fish of the trip.
Looks really well cooked.
Perfect. Absolutely delicious.
Came from the States and
I know. Same with the muskie.
cooking us up a delicious shore lunch.
Yeah, imagine showing up to the I don't know.
Yeah!
They're a little thicker than I usually
really
do them.
excited for
So yeah.
Oh, I know. Cast it to your TV.
things are getting interesting. Epic shore lunch, but we realize if we want to get back to our campsite and come back and camp here, we have to leave now. And part of the thing is that there's a blasting headwind, the winds have increased, and there's whitecaps breaking just out in front of where I'm standing now, which is where we had the shore lunch. So we have to just go beast mode, try to stay close to shore. If any one of us feels uncomfortable, we're just gonna turn back. But the problem is right now we're separated from our gear, which is at our campsite. So in a perfect world, you know, the wind would die and we'd paddle there, but we're gonna have to just beast through the wind, get to our campsite, pack our bags, and then come back paddling with the wind and just hope we can stay safe out there. So yeah, we're gonna stay close together. We're gonna make sure we're wearing our life jackets and stay close to shore. And hopefully we don't run out of energy. But yeah, we got our work cut out for us. Well, it looks like we've made it through. Oh, that was exhausting. Now we go back that way with our gear, but we'll be going with the wind. But man, there's a couple times I felt like I was paddling as hard as I could, yet I was still going backwards. Crazy. Nice. Well, we're back in the long, skinny bay that our campsite is on. So it felt good that we made it, and it's pretty much as soon as we made it, Ted landed one, a good one too. So we're all on the board for today. A little bit of fish for dinner, and yeah, we're gonna be paddling with the wind. It still might be sketchy, but after we pack up camp, so the really intense beast moding is over for the day, and we caught another fish too. So all around, it was definitely worth taking the risk and leveling up to the physical challenge of paddling in that headwind to switch campsites, and we're going to get a much better campsite for our efforts too. So more effort, more rewarding for sure.
Like some birds, I guess, right? Good plate.
Yeah.
Like Discovery, I think. That's all the convincing I need.
Standard practice, right? You know?
No, it's definitely be super careful.
Yeah. Well, the winds died down some, and we decided to explore the lake a bit more, do some more fishing, and we came over to a gathering of islands. And Sean and Ted and Nate jumped out and kind of scouted what looks to be like a pretty decent campsite. So we might actually just jump on this site instead of paddling back to the point where we had the shore lunch, which is kind of cool. I don't know if the fishing will be good as good directly off the site, but we will be closer to the way out of here in case we get a heavy wind on our last day that could keep us pinned down. So that's one good thing, and it looks like a really nice site too.
Shocking.
I don't know, it's like almost like you have to roll the tent for it.
And maybe, but you know.
That's funny.
Why don't they like you know, some of this like canvas and like the pack you have is good, but like why does everything have to be blaze yellow and like the tent is okay.
So they don't lose it.
Right. The tent is okay, but like everything, you know what I mean? Like I'd buy this if it was that forest.
Yeah.
What? And I wore those flying out of them. Look at that scene. Doors. What are they the Waldens?
There we go. You know? Well, it is dinner time. Everybody's cooking up their delicious food. Sean had some pork chops. He had some baked potato. Ted's cooking up a lake trout. Nate's got some fancy dehydrated meal. And I'm cooking a can of Habitant pea soup.
Sean?
Yeah, no. It's our car camp.
But it's great, but it's also good because we were
We
planning
got
on catching big
a
fish,
chicken
right?
corn chowder and a Habitant pea soup. Soupe au pois jambon fume. That means rural people's pea soup with smoked ham. This is a Canadian tradition, head office in Montreal. And really yummy stuff. And it's Habitant. In French, they don't pronounce the H when it's at the beginning. But it's not as interesting as all the fish and steaks to cook, but it's gonna hit the spot. Chef's kiss. One time when I was a kid, I tried punching holes in the top of the soup and I stabbed myself through the hand. So my dad told me to do it like this.
That's a little better.
I was wondering how they got it. Usually you'd have to be in line for like 50 years to get them.
Like, that would be good food security.
Sad.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
So so you guys got multiple. You got two, Jim?
Just one.
Landed? You landed one.
Yeah.
So
you transfer
Nate's like killing it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Fish show. Boom.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you worked around the bullshit.
little windy last night, eh?
Fuck.
Glad I put those boulders holding my tent down at the end.
I had to wrap myself in a tarp inside my tent because the
I
wind
was
was coming
chilly.
through, taking my heat off.
Just blows the heat right out of your sleeping bag, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really thin sleeping bag.
Yeah, I was chilly in my sleeping bag.
Last night.
He fished them out of the La Brea tar pit.
This is gonna taste so good.
My plan is to, when I cover them with bacon, it'll be visually less noticeable, and so I might be able
Kinda has
to.
that same hue though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat that, Nate.
Like, remember the
Went
ducks?
to bed all dirty without a
I'm like, those are ducks, and you guys are like, those aren't ducks, you idiot. And then Nate was like, yeah, they're ducks, you know?
That's the tricky part.
You're talking about just like the commercial.
Sven.
Good morning, ladies and germs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last night, the winds didn't die down. We were cold, hanging out by the fire, which was blasting wind, and then they actually got worse. And they're just ripping, like shaking the tent. Luckily I used boulders to pin my tent down, so no concerns there. But in some of the other guys' tents, the wind was blowing up under their flies. Sean had to wrap himself in a tarpaulin as he shook violently throughout the night with the cold. Yeah, basically it was just like real cold and windy. And then this morning, again, pretty cold and windy, so we moved our fireplace location so it'd be out of the wind. And Nate cooked up some road tar and for some reason his eggs just looked really black. And I slept in, which was magical. Today on the agenda, Ted brought up moving campsites again, so quick punch to the dick, and that ended that idea. Although I suppose I wouldn't be completely opposed to it. There's whiteys in this lake, not just us, whitefish. And yeah, they're really good eating, and they actually run in the spring. There's a chance that we might get some whitefish that are going up that tributary. And again, I think we're just gonna, try to catch some lake trout. Maybe, hopefully we get into something a little bigger. But with this cold front, you can see my breath. My hands are cold. I got the toque on. And the previous day, it was quite warm on the day that we the day that we got into this lake when we were portaging everything. It was quite warm, so that temperature fluctuation can sometimes mess with the fish. But lake trout don't seem to be as affected by it as some other species. I just made that up just for my own positive mindset, because honestly, a positive mindset is one of the most important things when it comes to fishing, even more important than if there even are fish there.
You have a bad attitude, you're like, you don't catch as many fish.
Yeah. Cold day isn't ideal. Let's hope that I'm wrong.
First 5 minutes of the day fishing. It's a nice little shore lunch trout.
Like running like a salmon.
Oh, Ted might have a whopper. Looks like Ted just got a big one on, not like 20 feet off of the point.
Oh, it's fighting good anyway.
Yeah, Ted. Ted, if you could just go ahead and face the sun so that the video looks better, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, he's nice.
Oh,
Yeah!
that is a tank.
Dude.
Yeah. All right.
Woo! There he goes. Good release.
I've been using a small William for the past bit. Yeah! What do we have there, Nate?
My biggest trout ever.
Yeah.
Which isn't saying much, but hey man, I'm pretty excited about this.
That is awesome, man. Congrats.
Well, Ted's already hooked into one, and Nate just hooked into the biggest fish of the trip yet. It looks like a beauty, still good eater, so yeah, maybe the cold front isn't hurting us so much.
Sean found this old double-bitted axe head.
7 feet tall.
Pretty cool. Where was it, Sean?
Buried in the sand, just barely showing a little bit of rust up on top. Right at the end, and there's all kinds of logs and bark chips and stuff there.
That's pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
Because they had double-bitted axes just for falling. They're useless for splitting and stuff, but just for felling trees, they'd use a double-bitted axe, and that way when one side got dull, they could flip it around, and then they'd resharpen every night, right?
They also often had different grinds on each side, one more tapered.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And for different tasks.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We are exploring up like a tributary that goes into a lake that's got nothing but perch and bait fish in it. But there might be a sucker run, which is a kind of cool sight to see, and potentially could be whitefish that sometimes come into the streams because they'll sometimes eat the sucker eggs in the spring. But it's super shallow, so questionable whether there'll be any fish, but we'll see.
Big old beaver dam. That about ends this little side mission.
Turtle.
Oh, tortuga!
He doesn't like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh. You see his head poking up? Oh.
Did he bite you?
No, he's not happy.
Why not?
Look at the size of him though. Like he can't even get under this log. He's
Okay, now leave it.
I can see the back end up right here.
Well, no whitefish or sucker run, but saw a pretty cool turtle.
Just paddling along, and looks like the morning bite is over, so we're sort of picking our way fishing to get to a shore lunch spot. And yeah, that's right in that tree. And
we came up on a bald eagle. It was acting a little territorial. Well, sure enough, its nest is right in this white pine tree here, which is pretty cool. And it's not too happy about us being here. Well, I don't like to give away the names of any of these backcountry natural trout lakes that I fish. If you can figure it out and do the research to get here yourself, then you deserve it. But ease of access, as great as it is to get people in the outdoors, can lead to people who are inexperienced getting hurt and places getting fished out. But I'll give you a tip as to the name of this lake, a hint. When I was a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. That's it. That's all you got. I was bungling a bed and all these guys landed fish, and then it's just kind of stopped. So I'm gonna go big or go home. And I just put this large whitefish on it. I've had good luck with lake trout on it before, but that's in a lake where probably the feeder fish are larger on average. But at the same time, that being said, I've caught some fairly small lake trout on it that big. So.
You don't find much in anything other than red flying around here anyway. Like,
Here's a flipper. Listen, out of all the bushcrafty type people here,
Yeah,
I'm only doing
that's a good effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's true. Tortilla was when you dip it. It was deadly, you know, and pick every little piece of fish off that thing, you know.
People can't beat a good pilsner.
Like that, eh?
yeah.
Good job, buddy. That just looks amazing. I want to just put that in the sun and let it dry.
The one that big one that you're asking me about, that was really dark.
Right.
So that's a butterfly right there. Isn't it?
That's sweet.
No bones.
That's a jolly guy.
Pretty insulting that you're not using Nate's stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Natural one's better.
That looks perfect, dude.
Wow.
we'll put it on. I mean, we could eat it for dinner too. Just bring it back in the bag.
Not hungry? Ooh, that's hot. This is the one that I butterflied. Nate's one. It's a good size. No bones in it at all.
Like, you know,
Right off the shore from our left
Get to the
spot.
lake trout from shore, baby. Can we keep it?
nice one. North,
Oh, nice night. That's a pretty good eater class.
north.
Came in and hit like right here, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, there we go. This one just from shore with a large Williams whitefish. What more can you ask for? Just hammering beauty Lakers from shore. Amazing, perfect day. A little late to get on the board today, but I'm pretty happy with that. Ted's hooked into another one here. It's a fish. Nice.
It's hooked.
Beauty fish by Tad. Now Nate's got one. We're just hammering fish. Nate's got a nice one too now. It escaped.
With my lure.
Oh no! The line broke?
Yeah.
Where? Looks like the evening bite's back on.
And head shook and stuff. I'm like, it's not like super heavy. Like when they're
Got one! Feels like a good size anyways. Not too bad. And then
nice one?
no, would have been a tasty one though. But not a bad one, but not as big as the last ones we've been catching. Coming past the part of the lake that's pretty choppy. I trolled down one shore, caught one, more or less split up from the rest of the guys. Ted followed the opposite shore, and Nate and Sean are in front of me. I see the bald eagle again, the two of them now, so they're supposed to male and female, the nesting pair there flying around, but looks like a wind picked up more or less from the south, although it doesn't feel extremely warm, and so I'm kind of getting the brunt of a few waves right now, but no big deal. Still trolling and just making my way back to camp. Well, I guess that is about it for the day. Awesome day. A lot of fish caught. I think Ted got 4 today, 2 big ones. Nate had one. Oh geez, Nate had 3 beauties. Me and Sean had I had 2. Sean had 1 or 2 at least. So anyways, yeah, it did well. Definitely some weather fluctuations. Unseasonably hot when we came in, and then unseasonably cold, but it leveled off this afternoon, and dealing with that headwind yesterday didn't make fishing or anything easier. But after the weather kind of stabilized a bit and we got more towards the evening, the bite picked up, and yeah, we all just started catching fish. Lake trout aren't easy to catch. If you're catching lake trout, you're, you know, like, don't get me wrong, I love catching bass, pike, it's really fun, but anybody can pick up a rod for the most part and catch a bass. But if you're in here catching lake trout, usually they're a little more challenging. You got to work harder for them. They're a little bit more elusive, and it's definitely something to brag a little bit more about. So that's pretty cool. Ted and I, when we were kids, the lake we grew up on had lake trout. We didn't even figure out how to catch them until we were probably teenagers. We didn't have the patience and the know-how and that kind of stuff, so we would have been proud of ourselves, of our childhood selves would be quite proud of what we've managed to accomplish here. And lake completely to ourselves as well. Gorgeous campsite, gorgeous shoreline spots, rugged shores, myriad of islands. Loving it. So I'm gonna go up and get into some of Nate's emergency wine, get a fire going, and fry up some fish for dinner, and I don't know what else is on the menu tonight. Awesome day.
I'm gonna have one, I think.
Would anybody like a celebratory little nip of Fireball?
Oh, I'm all right.
Just tastes like cinnamon hearts, Nate.
It's like cool now.
Nice. You gonna stick around? Stir that up. Alright, so this one is, what's this one called? Chicken teriyaki with rice. Look at that. There's a lot of going on there. It doesn't say there's peas and stuff, but apparently that's in there. And this is pasta primavera. Just stir that up here. It says to specifically stir it with a moss stick that contains fat wood and lichens.
Not liking it.
Put that there, seal that up, wait for, you know, a couple of beers, and then it's ready.
How many beers did you say?
2 beer, and that's ready to go.
Right on ski.
Look at that professional film.
That was good.
How did you find that footage compared to your other camera?
That still?
No, I'm too lazy. Why, do you want to make it?
Well, I was just gonna say.
That's good, that's good. A little homemade maple syrup.
I thought yours even was on that.
I don't know if everybody else is enjoying the extremely slow pace this morning, but I am. Oh man, this is good.
Here's that book I've been reading.
Well, this is our last day here. Beautiful morning, mist rising up off of the lake. The calls of sandhill cranes were heard as several flew overhead, and just absolutely gorgeous with a nice sunrise. So that was pretty cool, and pretty slow pace this morning. We have to leave today. It's our last day here, so we're going back out the same way that we came in, which definitely has some challenges with the one long portage. It was quite a bit longer than we'd anticipated because of the lack of a beaver dam. So yeah, we're gonna have to start going on that soon, but I took a little bit of extra time here to have another coffee and cook some pancakes up over the fire, which was delicious. And next order of business is essentially to break camp and take off. I didn't cook up the lake trout I caught last night, so it's been so cold out. Even right now, there's a cool wind coming through, so the fish that I caught yesterday definitely won't spoil. So I think I'm going to take that home for Tori and the kids. But anyways, yeah, it's about time to you know, start moving, packing up, and heading off on our way. But so far, it's been an amazing trip. I guess everything could technically go to pretty soon though, so. eh? These rocks.
Like walking across America.
Tiny little town on the other side of the St. Lawrence in Quebec City.
Yeah.
Nobody spoke English. So.
Well, we are on the water after a beautiful morning at camp. Nice day, still like definitely a little cool out, which will keep my fish from spoiling, which is awesome. Had a nice pancake meal for breakfast after rising to beautiful mist coming up off the water and a perfect sunset last night. None of us had been in this lake before. We didn't really have any info on it. This is just a crown land lake. There's no marked campsites or anything. We didn't really know where the fishing might be good, where it wouldn't be. So we've had to learn a lot about that for ourselves, but I feel like that's all part of the adventure and excitement about something like this, is that sometimes it can take a little while longer to learn it than if you go to, say, a provincial park where everything's mapped out for you. But that's also part of the fun of it, and you know, learning that knowledge that isn't in the public domain, that kind of few people know, and getting the chance to tangle with natural lake trout. This lake's never been stocked. This is a self-sustaining lake trout lake, all natural fish. Oh, and speak of the devil, yes, oh yeah, feels pretty good. Looks like a good eating size one. Yeah. Woo. There we go. There we go. That's a little, probably a little under average size for this lake. Using the Williams Whitefish here. It's just been slaying for us since we started using these ever since we started using these large Williams Whitefish spoons. We started slaying, started doing definitely better. There we go, on the board for today. Nice little treat for the paddle home. Love it. Some evidence from logging here. Some metal there. Logs laid lengthwise there. Makes it easier to slide the logs they're driving out of the bigger lake down. Basically right now I'm standing in an old logging slough, so they would have dammed the lake to get the water level higher, and then the spring released water from the dam and used that extra flow to drive logs down here. And I'm standing on where they guided the logs. They put other logs lengthwise to help slide the logs over the boulders in the rapid. There's a log, you can tell that came down in the drive because the ends have been cut off with a saw. We get them all the way down there eventually into a larger river so they could be run to Georgian Bay. See the moose skull on your left, Sean? Or on Nate's left? And there it is. Bull Lake Outfitters. It's where we started our trip from, where we parked our vehicles. Another great trip in the books.